हेलो एंड वेलकम टू एक्सपायरी की बात विद कोटक सिक्योरिटीज। मैं सहज अग्रवाल आज आपसे ओवरऑल मार्केट सेटअप, शॉर्ट टर्म पैरामीटर्स कैसा है, मीडियम टर्म आउटलुक क्या लग रहा है और इन स्पेसिफिक एक्सपायरी को लेके मल्टीपल डेटा पॉइंट्स डिस्कस करूंगा. So the markets have been pretty exciting over the last two weekly expiries, if I would say, wherein after some volatility that we witnessed around the 9th or 10th of April, the market has picked up one-way momentum and taken all of us by surprise to a certain extent. I don't think वो गलत होगा बोलना, because इतना strong और इतना बड़ा move इतने short term में आ जाएगा, that was not anticipated. Yes, there were positive indications, but the move has been pretty aggressive. So discuss करेंगे ये सब points भी. Overall, we've divided our presentation into two parts. One is the data points that we would like to discuss with you, and the second part is the interactive charts where we go live with the Nifty charts, discuss multiple data points, multiple setups, and form a view for the expiry. So शुरुआत करते हैं with the data pointers with respect to the expiry, and then we'll take the second part, which is the charts, and conclude on our outlook for the upcoming expiry session. Yeah, so that's a brief presentation that we have for you. Relevant disclaimers, just giving it in the beginning itself so that it doesn't come towards the end and block your thought process. Yeah, so आज के expiry session में in particularly mid cap index, Nifty 200. So basically the mid cap space did really well. Nifty gained 0.67%, whereas small cap underperformed to a certain extent by gaining only 0.44 odd percent. इसके साथ साथ में what sectors did extremely well today. So जैसे आप देखेंगे कि today IT space outperformed significantly. In fact, the first leg of the rally that we witnessed, इसमें banking and NBFCs participated really well. Apart from that, metals, IT, real estate, ये सब sectors ने अभी तक underperform किया है. Metals as well. इनका performance अभी आप expect कर सकते हैं. And I think today was a classic day when the banking was under pressure, and the other sectors where maybe value, maybe momentum was expected to pick up has gained traction, and Nifty IT performed significantly well with gains of around 4.3%, which is a significant gain for the IT index, जिसने एक vertical correction witness किया है. मीडियम टर्म आउटलुक क्या है? सो इनफैक्ट वी हैड अ रेजिस्टेंस ऑफ अराउंड 24,100. इंडेक्स ने वो भी क्रॉस कर दिया है. अब इमीडिएट बेसिस पे नेक्स्ट जो लॉजिकल लेवल समझ में आ रहे हैं, वन लेवल वाज 24,200. टुडे वी विटनेस्ड अ क्लोजिंग अबाउट द सेम. सो द नेक्स्ट मीनिंगफुल रेजिस्टेंस दैट वी लुकिंग एट इज डायरेक्टली प्लेस्ड एट 24,800. अब ये जो मोमेंटम है, ये कहीं ना कहीं एक ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स ऑफ द मंथ वी विटनेस्ड अ ब्रेकडाउन ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ ऑप्शंस राइटिंग लेवल. Again, market witnessed strength, crossed that level, and then we witnessed super normal euphoria. हमें लग रहा है tomorrow's session could be one session which could be extremely volatile, provided volatile with a positive bias, provided आपके कुछ levels जो हम आगे आपके साथ discuss करेंगे वो mature हो जाए. But at this point of time, I think sector rotation हो सकता है. जैसे हमने अभी देखा कि IT and other sectors started performing which were underperforming until now, whereas the banking could remain under pressure. So आपको stock specific activity करनी है. Index में थोड़ा plus minus रह सकता है, थोड़ी volatility रह सकती है. जहाँ पे opportunity mature होती है वहाँ पे हम index में भी trade ले सकते हैं. But broadly that's the setup that we are expecting at this point of time. Nothing negative is matured right now. So in the absence of anything negative, we believe this is more of a buy on dips kind of a setup, and stock specific opportunities पे हमें participate करना है. OI build-up यदि आप देखेंगे तो one is 24,000 put, which is standing like a wall, followed by the 24,200 put, which is again has significant open interest. But call side में एक there's something, today we made a high of 24,360 and closed somewhere around the 24,300 mark. 24,300 पे ही maximum open interest call options का बना हुआ है, followed by 24,500. Now again, this is provisional data because the final data comes later at the end of the day. But broadly, these numbers don't change so much that it can change the outlook. So 24,300 is a significant open interest hurdle that is one is expected to face in tomorrow's trading session. और यदि इसके ऊपर sustain हो जाता है along with other parameters, यहाँ पे open interest cut होता हुआ दिखता है, then I think the next hurdle or the next target that you can expect for the index is 24,500, 24,550. ऑप्शन चेन की अभी यदि आप बात करें तो टुडे देयर इज बीन balanced activity in terms of call writing and put writing, not too much. Call writing is around 2,58,000 contracts, whereas put writing is 2,22,000 contracts, so pretty balanced. Or weekly basis पे भी the number is more or less balanced only. So there's not much of a bias, more or less neutral ही चल रहा है, but undertone क्योंकि positive है, so that could have an impact on the parameters. यहाँ पे भी आप जैसे देखेंगे highlighted numbers में 24,300 call has maximum open interest in terms of 1,45,666, whereas on the put side the position is seen at the 24,000 strike price. Moving ahead, yeah, so looking at the max pain, now max pain kya hai? Max pain is basically that number where call writers, put writers gain the maximum premium decay, and जो जितना भी positions उनका create किया है that goes down to zero. So currently the residual premium that we are seeing is 990 odd crores, whereas buyers would want the market to move away from the max pain point so that जो उन्होंने option invest किया है, buy किया है, उसमें उनको return मिले. So currently that point is seen at 24,150 max pain, whereas Nifty is closed at 24,330. Usually, if I were to recollect the last 10 weekly expiries, इतना variation होता नहीं है. So the fact that there is a variation means that यहाँ पे volatility भी आपकी अच्छी खासी expiry day पे रह सकती है. So tomorrow it will be extremely and all the more important for us to have our objective numbers and levels in place, which we will be presenting. FIs ने क्या किया है, since this is the monthly expiry as well, along with the the close of the session of the April series, broadly FIs continue to remain on the short side. पूरे महीने में जो भी opening position थी उसके बाद में incremental positions if you see, then that is 49,688 contracts on the short side in Nifty, whereas in Bank Nifty, Mid Cap Nifty, Nifty Next जिसमें बहुत कम positions है, overall positive bias रहा है. तो Nifty के अंदर अभी भी FIs की short position net बनी हुई है on an incremental basis. अगर पूरे March series में हम देखें तो उन्होंने क्या किया है, तो overall short bias short positions ही उन्होंने बनाई है. FI activity को यदि हम देखें अभी, so what do we see over here? The blue line is basically the blue arrow keys highlighting the FI and Pro segment. तो अगर आप first we look at this side, index options, FI is basically marginally net short. You can say basically their positions are neutral, whereas Pro segment is aggressively net long. Similarly, in the index futures space, FI is net short, whereas Pro continues to remain marginal, not much positions over here. Now moving ahead, if we were to include the client positions, client in the index futures segment is neutral, whereas in the index option segment, they've taken a bit of a negative stance, again indicating possible they've been cutting their positions. अगर आप देखेंगे net short positions उनकी 16th April से अभी तक कट ही हुई है, but overall client side का bias negative बना हुआ है. So all in all, I think there's a mixed bias that we're seeing, wherein FI is short on futures, neutral on options. Client is short on options, neutral on futures. So the overall outlook from this particular data points is a little more clouded, I would say. Now, long ratio sustains at 31%. So in March end, somewhere or the other, we witnessed a 39% high. After that, it dipped to 21%. और उसके बाद में we've consistently witnessing this number hovering between 28 to 31 odd percent. अभी भी ये 31% पे ही बना हुआ है. So not much has changed in the short term, though the market has pulled up. but यहाँ पे अभी fresh aggression नहीं दिख रहा है जहाँ पे आप और aggressively long करें on positional basis. साथ ही साथ में you would have even noticed that your cash numbers are also now sub, right? मतलब they are not aggressive numbers that we are witnessing. The numbers are positive, but they are not as aggressive as one would want it to be for the continuation or the maintenance of the thrust. So somewhere or the other for the short term, some kind of a consolidation seems to be possible. Now looking at the larger parameters, medium term we believe market का setup consolidation वाला है. हमने 23,800, 24,200 के resistance levels को cross किया. Next हमारे resistance levels जो हमको meaningful दिख रहे हैं, सबसे पहला है 24,800 followed by 25,300. I think 25,300 is pretty far-fetched. The initial first meaningful resistance that we're looking at about 24,250 is directly placed at 24,800. Open interest अभी का जो मैंने आपको सीरीज का बताया, that is 24,300 call and 24,000 put. Select sector performance is expected. I think rotation is expected to happen. FIs have marginally increased their net long exposure, but it's not as aggressive a change in the stance that we would want to happen. So now that we're done with the data part, which we wanted to share with you, we'll shift over to the charts, which is always exciting and interesting to have a look at. Is maybe we have three sections that we would like to share and discuss with you. पहला है आपका positional chart. So this is the positional stance on the index that we are looking at. Just a minute, I'll make it more convenient for you to have a larger view. Yeah. So this is the positional view of Nifty daily chart since the top that was made, which was September 24, and the bottom that was recently made April 25. I hope it's clearly visible to you. Now, what have we done? अगर आप देखेंगे तो ये दो टॉप थे 24,800 के आसपास के, one which was made in the month of Feb and the other one which was made in March. ये दोनों को क्रॉस किया, एक एग्रेसिव मूवमेंट आया. ऑब्वियसली कहीं पे भी आप डबल टॉप का रेजिस्टेंस को क्रॉस करेंगे, मार्केट इज बाउंड टू रिएक्ट and bound to give a next aggressive move, which the market did. After that, now it is the next smaller resistance that we were looking at is 24,200 odd, जिसके आसपास मार्केट ने एक आध दिन ट्रेड किया, and then today we've closed about that. But meaningful resistance यदि हम देखें जहां से actually market का damage चालू हुआ था, the high that we made in December 24 was around 24,800, 24,900. That seems to be the next major resistance that we're looking at. So setup is positive for now. Sector rotation is actually helpful. जो sectors ने नहीं perform किया, यदि वो अभी perform करना चालू कर देते हैं, तो that could provide further impetus to the market and push the market towards the 24,900. Now, if you see, there are two darker highlighted lines, one in blue at the top and one in red at the bottom. ये जो blue वाला top वाला line है, that is placed around 25,500. This is more of a positional setup. So in our understanding, this was the level which kind of started the entire selling pressure in the month of October. ये level cross करना बहुत जरूरी है for the market to again getting into a structurally positive setup. तो शॉर्ट टर्म में कोई भी करेक्टिव फेज में भी अप मूव्स आते हैं, करेक्शन होता है, आप रेंज के अंदर भी ट्रेड करते हैं तो ऊपर नीचे होता है. ऐसे वोलेटाइल मूव्स जो हम एक्सपीरियंस कर रहे हैं अभी, they give us the feeling that the market is actually got extremely bullish and the mojo of the market is returned. It could happen, but I think what we're doing right now is being selective. But to get broad based and anticipate that all sectors, including banking, which has already performed, will further do well, we would still want the market to cross this positional barrier as such. Yeah. So currently हम trading setup के साथ काम कर रहे हैं market में, not with a trending setup. Trading की भी अच्छी opportunities है, as we just mentioned. IT, real estate, metals are providing us with attractive opportunities too. Even the auto space. And the bottom side, if you see this red line, I think this red line is expected to act as a strong support now. Simple logic of technical analysis, previous resistance becomes a new support. So 23,800 is now expected to act as a strong support line. So this is our positional setup, positively biased. 23,800 का support है, 24,800 का next बड़ा resistance है, और trend level पे to get back to the super bullish environment which we were experiencing in the earlier quarters before the last quarter of calendar year 24, we would want the market to cross the 25,500 mark. Yeah. Now moving ahead to the next chart जो हम आपके साथ share करना है, which is the previous expiry setup. So previous expiry setup आपके सामने, this is the chart that I'm sharing with you. This was the weekly expiry day. Again, a big major up move day. Again, the logic that we work with, which we keep sharing with you on our in our sessions, कि expiry minus 1 day levels are pretty critical. तो जैसे आप देखेंगे, expiry minus 1 day के ऊपर में market sustained, and then on the expiry day the move was significant, right? I'll just open it further for your convenience. जैसे ये देखिए. So this is 17th of April, previous expiry day. 17th of April, you crossed the high of the previous trading session, gave an hourly basis closing over there, and then there was a fantastic rally that you witnessed. So, these are those risk-defined opportunity trades that we would want you to participate in and, make more of risk-defined and more method-based returns that can be possibly generated. Yeah. So this is about the previous expiry. अब हम आ जाते हैं current expiry पे, which is the main interest that we have. Yes, so this is the current weekly setup that we have. Now the dotted lines that you can see, ये जो lines आप देख रहे हैं, this is basically where is the options concentration. जैसे मैंने आपके साथ डिस्कस किया पॉइंटर्स के टाइम पे 24,300 पे मैक्सिमम ओपन इंटरेस्ट बना हुआ है, साथ ही साथ में आपका नेक्स्ट ओपन इंटरेस्ट बना हुआ है 24,000 के पुट पे, राइट. सो दीज आर द 2 पॉइंट्स वेयर वी हैव मैक्सिमम ओपन इंटरेस्ट बिल्ड अप. दैट इज वन पॉइंट. सेकंड पॉइंट, एफआईआई की पोजीशंस, एफआईआई प्रो क्लाइंट की पोजीशंस थोड़ी सी न्यूट्रल है, बहुत ज्यादा कोई स्ट्रॉन्ग बायस नहीं बना हुआ है, अंडरटोन पॉजिटिव है, बट फ्रेश जो इंक्रीमेंटल पोजीशंस है वो थोड़ी सी न्यूट्रल दिख रही है, राइट. Thirdly, expiry minus 1 day, which is extremely important. आज का high is 24,360 on the higher side and 24,100 and just a minute, 120 on the lower side. So 24,120 and 24,360 is extremely critical. 24,360 के साथ साथ में आपका ओपन इंटरेस्ट का जो बिल्डअप है वो भी 24,300 पे है. यदि 24,300, 24,360 इनफैक्ट टू बी मोर ऑब्जेक्टिव लेवल के ऊपर क्रॉस निफ्टी सस्टेन कर जाता है और साथ में आप 24,300 के कॉल में अनवाइंडिंग देखते हैं, then I think there's an easy move which is possible towards the 24,500, 24,550 mark. But इसके लिए हमें निफ्टी आवरली बेसिस पर 24,360 के ऊपर सस्टेन करते हुए दिखना चाहिए. And one level to watch out for to eliminate the positivity and to possibly trigger some kind of a selling pressure would be 24,120 on the downside. Looks a little difficult because sectors का सपोर्ट है, स्टॉक्स का सपोर्ट है, डेटा में as such कोई नेगेटिविटी अभी तक ऐड हुई नहीं है unless there's some global news overnight which is less likely to happen. But yes, the key level on the downside is 24,120 and momentum is expected to happen above 24,360 on the higher side on hourly closing basis. As a matter of fact, today towards the last hour of the trade, we've initiated a short straddle, expecting that the market could possibly, at least in the first 1 or 2 hours, remain range bound, and there could be some aggressive overnight theta decay that could happen. Again, it's a risk defined trade, and one has to manage it well because it involves option writing. But that's the view that we've taken basis the data, basis the technical setup, basis the options open interest build up that we're seeing at this point of time. Yeah. So this is what we have on the charts. 24,120 on the lower side and 24,360 के ऊपर यदि sustain करता है hourly basis पर, keep monitoring the 24,300 call option positions also. यदि वहां पे unwinding दिख रही है तो then there's high possibility कि ऊपर hourly basis पे closing भी आ जाएगा, and then you could possibly witness anywhere between a 0.7 to 1% up move on the index for the expiry session for tomorrow. So that brings us to the end of the presentation. I hope this new initiative of introducing charts and being a little more interactive is more interesting for you, and you can relate to it more. What we try to do is data plus charts, I think, gives a better understanding and helps us also communicate better with you. So basically 24,360 is the level that you should be watching out for tomorrow's trading session. Hope you gained out of this attempt of ours. In case if you have any feedback and want us to introduce any particular aspect onto the expiry ki Baat, which we've been doing since quite some time, and we're really thankful for you to participate on this particular webinar that we've been doing. So have a lovely day today and best of luck for tomorrow's trading session. Thank you.